Now, still with the worsening violence on the Cape Flats, we're joined by Abie Isaacs, the chairperson of the Cape Flats Safety Forum. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. Following the visit by the Minister as well as the Deputy Minister of Justice and various other officials, are you feeling a lot more safer as the residents?
First and foremost, good evening to you and your listeners. The Minister came yesterday to the Cape Flats area, particularly Mrs. Plain. Yes, we hold a view that we are cautiously optimistic based on quite a number of issues. We've consistently been raising that there's no plan from the authorities to deal with what we call urban terror, gang violence. And clearly yesterday, in terms of what we've depicted from the Minister, he unpacked to say that he's coming back to produce a plan to us as the community. Yet, as we've consistently been saying, that the Cape Flats is under siege. People are dying. Just last night, in terms of an incident, you've alluded to an incident that happened within another policing precinct. So clearly, more needs to be done.
Yeah, and as the community, because you've had an opportunity to engage with the Minister, one would ask, where do you think the loopholes are when it comes to crime-fighting efforts, particularly the violence that we've seen in some of the areas in the Western Cape?
First and foremost, if you deal with gangs, I do understand what the Minister is saying. It's a long progress. It's been coming on for years. We need to deal with it. There needs to be a clear plan from the Provincial Commissioner that needs to drive it. Hence, we've been calling and persistently been calling. Even yesterday's meeting, we said we want the South African Defence Force to be deployed as a force multiplier just to stabilize the area, whilst the Minister is going back to the drawing board and look at the comprehensive plan. But for now, we need the South African Defence Force to be a force multiplier. Secondly, I think we also raised the issue that we need a special probe into gun violence, because clearly guns have become the murder weapon in and around the Cape Flats.
And one of the things, though, that, before we even get to the issue of illegal firearms, as you're alluding to, but how was the call for the SANDF to come to the streets received?
And in terms of what the Minister said yesterday, I raised it, and there is proof that we've raised it on behalf of the Cape Flats Safety Forum. The Minister basically did not answer on that one. He purely said that he's going to bring more forces, 400 police officers. Yet, we already have 400 police officers, Operation Sanele, Operation Thunder, all these operations, 400 police officers already, but yet there's no clear strategy. We basically see reactive policing than proactive policing.
Yeah, and we've seen the SANDF, in the past, particularly in the streets of Cape Town and, various calls, but also the difficulties with some of the areas when it comes to service delivery and how this further compounds the issue of policing in the area. Let's speak about what are some of the differences that you believe that the deployment of the SANDF right now will do for this particular province.
I think we, as you correctly put it, in 2019, we had a South African Defence Force here. Yes, although on a limited period, but they managed to stabilize the area. In the same breath, whilst the SANDF is here as a force multiplier, and again, we do understand that SANDF has got a particular mandate and the South African Police Service has got a particular mandate. But to stabilize the area as a force multiplier, we need them so that we can stabilize our area so that our kids can go to school. As I normally say, and as we normally put it, we don't have to switch on Netflix to hear gunshots. We live, eat, sleep gunshots on the Cape Flats.
Yeah. And
so the only people now...
Yeah, go ahead.
So the only people now that would be able to make that quick difference in order for us to go back to the drawing board, not us, but the agencies to go back to the drawing board, is the South African Defence Force as a force multiplier. Over and above a special probe, because the mere fact why we're calling for a special probe is that just last week in Mitchell's Plain, 19 firearms extracted. 2 weeks ago, firearms destined for the Western Cape intercepted somewhere in Johannesburg. So clearly, we need to understand who's armed gangs.
Yeah, and briefly then, before I let you go, for you to have to reach this particular point as the residents and for you to call for the SANDF, it speaks volumes even about the provincial police, for example. And even yesterday, the minister, so also agreeing with something that you're saying, that there doesn't seem to be a plan in place in order to be able to deal with the gang violence in the area. When you look at the provincial police itself in the Western Cape, how would you say they have been doing as far as crime fighting efforts are concerned?
I think one, we would consistently, and I think yesterday was also raised by various structures, sorry, that we need to start capacitating our local police stations. And seemingly that, for an example, in Mitchell's Plain, police get deployed, get taken away from the police station and deployed to other areas, to other operations. You take from the same police station, which is under-resourced, you deploy them to, for an example, Operation Sanele, or whatever the name is. You deploy at least 2 or 3 of them. That is one of the problems. And what we've also been calling, yes, if you don't want to send the army, let's agree with hence capacity the station with specialized units like your TRTs, your National Intervention Units. We've got task force. Capacitate the 13 stations with the specialized units.
All right. Thank you so much, Abie, for your time. And let's see what the minister says, because you say that he's coming back into the area in order to be able to report back to some of the promises and actually the issues that you've raised. But appreciate your time this evening. That is Abie Isaacs, the chairperson of the Cape Flats Safety Forum.